Well, welcome to the October 22nd meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund. And we are meeting on Zoom. So it's a reminder that if there's anything that you would have on your background that you would not like to be able to share on the recording, that you please be sure to remove it. So we'll get started with the first item of the agenda, which is approve the September minutes. They were distributed to everyone. Do I have any questions on the minutes or anything? No? All right. So do I hear a vote to be able to accept the minutes from the September 17th meeting?
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
They are accepted. All righty then. First one on the agenda, Burt Wilkstrom bench. It actually, Eric and I built it. It was a fine job.
Twice.
We definitely learned a lot about how to be able to use a come along to be able to squeeze the bench so you could get the parts together. But that bench is actually installed at Greens Field now. So the one thing that we noticed once I went over and checked the bench is that, and I've called Sandy Wickstrom to let her know. She was traveling, but I think she's going to be back this week so that she can actually see it in person. It looks beautiful.
What color is it?
Black.
Black, that's what I thought, yeah.
And it's the one that says, I'm too old to retire. So the only thing that is unusual is the fact that the pad that the other bench sat on is exactly a couple of inches shorter on both sides, so that the bench that we just installed sits with the pad underneath the bench, but the feet are actually in dirt.
Oh no.
So we're going to have to get some thin stones and so on to be able to put underneath the feet so they don't actually sit in dirt. But that was the first time we've ever run into that. Usually those pads are plenty wide. So anyway, but we'll take care of that, and she'll also let me know when she wants to be able to do the dedication, so we can hopefully time the two of those things together. So that would be great. So that's one. Number two, just on the updates, that I went to the Cali, I guess, imposter bench that was up at the jog for your memory event that happened a week ago Sunday, and it was a really well attended event. Lot of great enthusiasm. They got a real kick out of the mock-up of the bench sitting there on the pad, and people ran about it, and the daughter of the Callies was just thrilled. I mean, she was just like beside herself how cool it was to be able to have that mock-up there. And it was just a really successful event, and they were very grateful for the whole thing. So, and on the next note, that the Cali bench is in, so that tomorrow, Eric and I are booked to be able to build it. In fact, the Middleton bench is now in. So if we're really good at this, we'll get both benches built tomorrow. I certainly hope so. But that will be great. So that
Are they both the same?
No, they're two different benches.
Wonderful.
Yeah, one of them is the same as the one we did,
Okay.
and the second one is the one that goes to Cricket Field.
Yep.
Which uses the metal rods instead of the flat steel. So we'll get to see how that one goes together.
At least we have the tools now.
Yes, we do. So we'll tune in tomorrow and put them together. Uh, the update on the Catherine Booney bench, that basically it's the only update is that they're still finishing the dredging at Needham Lake, which is what the pond behind 500 Dedham Ave is called. But they expect to be out, from what I'm told, by the end of October. So hopefully, shortly after that, we'll be able to have the bench, her beautiful granite bench, moved to that location. I walked through all there just to be able to check to see if everything was, still the paths were still fine and all that, and they all look perfectly fine. So, however they're doing it, they're not don't seem to be disturbing the paths at all. So that's great. Um, Update on from Needham to the World. Well, Seymour is about 90% finished with the profile. And in the next day or two, I'm going to connect up with him to get the last pieces of the puzzle together. Um, but the main thing we need is a sponsor, because right now we don't have a sponsor for the Charlie Baker one.
Hmm.
So um, we need to be able to, make the contacts we can and basically, beat the bushes for people who would be interested. And we can do it as, a group. What I've done with one of the ones that we did before was basically we just got um, three people who would be able to do, oh, would be able to donate like, 350 a piece and, 350, 375, and then, we can, uh, that covers it. So it doesn't require that one person donates the whole 12.95. So that's basically where we're at. So we need your help to be able to rally in this next week to be able to find, a group of donors who will donate to be able to get this sponsored. And then we'll launch the campaign for the 2025 profiles so that we have donors and sponsors for them, already paid for before we roll them out, which is the way we normally did it. This, for whatever reason, this last one, we had an original person in mind. Then that got switched out. Then we went to to Charlie Baker's, and it just shortened some of the time that we had to work on it. So it's all good, but we need to do some rallying in the next week or so. So definitely let me know what you find out from your contacts. I will continue to uh, ask people through my network also, and one way or the other, we'll come up with the thing. So that's the status of that one. But the town common boxes. Well, the design is all completed. The design is now submitted to the historical commission for their sign off. For their sign off, and that will happen on Monday, where Ed and I will be on a Zoom call with them to be able to get the final blessing on the on the design. Basically, the way it worked was that uh, you would um, we basically did the first presentation. They talked about the concept, then gave a very clear explanation as to what the concept would be in conjunction with the feedback that they had given us. And they said, as long as you produce this in, in the same, concept that we just described, that it's, really not necessary for you to come back to us again. But, the reality is we want to make sure that people are really informed on exactly what it is that they said yes to. So, so we're going back to them anyway with the final design so they can see it, and then based on their approval, then we will also send it to the select board to be able to be presented at whatever their next closest meeting is. Now, if we're really lucky, and November turns out to be as you know wonderful temperature wise as it's been in October, that we might be able to get them installed. But we need basically 70-degree days to be able to do it so that the boxes themselves are warm and they will take the full adhesion that, when they're doing the box wrap. So we'll just have to play that by ear and see if it's possible. But that,
Paul, are those the boxes that are at the corner by the intersection by like the farmhouse side? I was over there the other day and trying to like see which boxes you were talking about because I didn't know what the location was. What corner are they on?
oh no, these are the two big boxes that are in on the town common.
Yeah,
Two
but inside or around the perimeter?
inside the common.
Inside. Okay, that's
They're
right. I
right,
wasn't looking
they're
at the right.
literally stuck in gardens on either side
Okay,
of the front end of the common.
that's why I couldn't find it. Okay.
And one of the things that I was going to try to do was to bring up the. I'll see if I can pull it up, but to bring up the design so you can actually see what it is that has been worked on. So I'll do that in just a moment. Um, but this is a project that started, uh, I would say, almost a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, when the town common renovation was going to happen. And they originally, uh, with their consultants, said, it would be great to be able to wrap these boxes in some way. But they didn't have any any suggestions on how that would be done. And uh, so when they were going through the process, they were trying to come up with ways to be able to do it. But what they realized was this is a complex collection of boxes, and whatever design you have has to be able to contour and integrate throughout the entire cluster of each box. So each one has to be its own sort of image, but it has to be part of an image that basically encompasses the entire thing. And so Ed Olson called me up and said, "Hey, can you help consult on this?" And that's how we basically um, got to work on this thing. And it's been basically between uh, Seymour Levy and Ed Olson and myself basically working together to be able to uh, come up with a design that we had originally described to the uh, historical commission, and so this is the result. So let me see if I can pull it up here so you can actually see it. In just a minute here. I don't think it's going to let me pull them all up at the same time, but let me share my screen. If I can get back to where we're at and share the screen. There, share. And now let's see if you can see this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically, let's see if I can get this a little bit smaller here so you can see it as one piece. Now, in a second, I'll show you an actual image of it in place. But the whole idea was to be able to have something that would connect with the uh, with the landscape that exists there, that it would um, add some element that would be part of the types of things that would be in that, in that garden space, and then add in some whimsy, like the butterflies and the birds and so on. And this particular one has all of these animals collected in it. In the box itself, they'll actually be spread out, around the boxes. But it gives you an idea of the type of thing that it looks like. And then when it wraps over the top of the box, that it'll be blue sky with clouds going across the top of the box also. So let me see if I can pull up the one that shows it in place. This over here. You see that?
Yep.
So that shows basically what it would look like in place. And this one is the version with the base being concrete stained to a brown to match the mulch. And that gives you sort of a perspective of what you'd see. And when we took the original photograph, a lot of this garden had just started coming up. But when you look at this, once you get into the season, there's a lot of things that are much higher than you see what's around here. And both boxes on either end will have the same treatment. And but the animals will show up in slightly different places, throughout the thing, so that kids could come up and be able to look at find the rabbit, or the bird, or things like that. The other piece of it too is that um, this whole collection of animals and butterflies and so on are all actual photographs of these animals here in Needham. So Susie is the photographer that had taken all these photos. And so we asked her, she's the one who worked on the Ridge Hill wall mural. And so we asked her if she would, be able to supply some images of actual photographs that she had taken of these different animals and so on in Needham. And so she did. So it's really a truly, and we also checked to make sure that the grasses here were grasses that were that would be actually be in the Northeast and, could potentially be here. So all of the elements that are in this should basically be, perfectly aligned with it being, something that really could have grown up in Needham in one way or the other. So does that help?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Wait, I just have a
Those were the
question,
ones I
Paul.
thought it was. Those are the ones I thought
Have,
it was.
have
Yeah.
we gone to the select board yet to ask for permission on this?
It first
Have
goes
you?
to the Historic District Commission because they
Well,
oversaw all the elements on the town common. And then after they sign off on it, which hopefully will happen on Monday, then it goes to the select board.
yeah, I know. I thought we were going to try to get this stuff just if there was any before, like the work was for concepts and that. Um, but okay, so once they sign off on it, then we'll have to go to the select board. Are those all town boxes? Is it
Yes.
one of those an EverSource box or no?
Well, all the boxes in the cluster were part of what the downtown, I mean, this actual project is sponsored by and funded by the design that was done for the town common. We didn't fund
Okay.
this. This is all part of, this is Ed Olson and their whole group.
Okay, so this was done back. This was like predates me considerably then. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. This was part of the entire renovation of the town common.
Okay.
And this was a piece of that, which they had the funds reserved for to be able to do this. And so we just basically helped them with the design to get it executed.
Okay. And then I was going through there. Okay.
So that's how it all came about.
Oh,
That's why it
Isha is
wasn't really technically like a revitalization trust fund project. We were helping them complete a project that they had already planned on doing, but needed some insights on how to be able to execute it.
okay.
So it's funded by whatever the funds were that were from
Oh,
from
from
the
the from
renovations.
town. Okay.
Yeah, it's all part of that budget. So that's how it came to be.
Yeah, I still okay.
But
That
we were going to
ex
bring it to the, so um, we'd bring it through the select board anyway, just because that's the right thing to do. I don't know whether
right.
it was required as far as the process goes, because that's
Well, yeah, I know it's because it's their property, so that's why we always have to try to get whatever
oh yeah.
agency's property it is. So if it's like, so this was there, that's why I was like, I wondered where we were at with it. But if it was part of the of that component of it, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, if we had started this from zero, just as a revitalization trust fund project, then we would have brought it up at the committee. We would have gone through all the processes to do that, and through design review and then through all the rest of it. So and through the select board. Um, but this was basically the last piece of the town common renovations.
Okay.
So as part of that project. So it was already built into the project that these boxes were going to be wrapped.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered if it had gone before basically the meetings in that just to make sure that I'm trying to get all my lines up so that I know the process going forward of making sure the select board knows of things before they like kind of are halfway done or longer through the process. That way, if there's any issues with it, we can remedy it early on.
Oh yeah. No, like,
Just
just so you know, in terms of the Revitalization Trust Fund, none of the projects that we directly fund um, do basically we start by getting all the pieces together, which includes and oftentimes, depending on what piece of property it is, the final approval of whatever uh, town committee oversees that particular property. Like,
okay,
Greenfield is Park and Rec. The town common is obviously the select board. Um, and we only even accept funding on a project after all of those have been signed off.
okay.
But as I said, this wasn't something that we initiated. This was
Right.
something that we were called.
Something that was done through the okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, and
Are
but
these for the ones on the north end or the sorry?
both. Well,
Okay, both of them. Okay.
they're on both corners, and so
Yep.
this because um what Ed and I were basically following was the fact that the historic district commission or historical commission um,
Okay.
were the ones who oversee any of this kind of thing. So they were the first ones to be able to actually um, see it, because if they wouldn't approve it as something that could be on the town
Right.
common, then it wouldn't matter anyway. So so that's why we started with them, and then the next step is to the select board after they have hopefully approved the design. So
Okay, that makes sense then.
yeah, so that's how that works. Um, anyway, so what impressions? I mean, people like it, think it's positive. They were looking for something that was upbeat and positive, and with the input from the historical commission, they wanted to be make it feel like it was. They didn't want it to be like the focal point of the common. They wanted it to be something that felt like it was integrated into the common,
Mhm.
and hence making it look more like it was part of the garden was the direction.
It is not up yet.
No, we can't do it until the select board ultimately sign off.
Yeah. Okay.
But we also can't do it unless the weather's right.
Right.
So if we have some warm days, if the installation people are available, then we could potentially do it and install it. But that's we'll just have to see. All depends on what I guess global warming will how it'll affect November. Um, but that's basically where it's at. So Eric, Jessica,
It's
any
pretty.
feedback?
Did you say already what the material is that and I missed it? Like what material is the artwork on?
A
This
vinyl
is
wrap.
yeah, it's vinyl wrap. It's
Okay.
exactly the same as the one we did at May Street,
Okay.
corner of May at Eaton's Funeral Home, and
Yep. Okay.
the
Yep.
same that you see in a bunch of the boxes that are around town now.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty.
Well, and when it has more of the greenery sort of grown up around the base, so the base is even less visible,
Mm-hmm.
that it will be much more about looking like it's coming out of the ground instead of I think the base being stained brown, especially since this is a zoomed in, you're standing right there kind of thing, where most people are going to be going by it at a point where the different greenery around the base of it is going to cover up most of the base anyway at the angle they're even going to see it. So, and because this wraps all the way around, basically anywhere they look, they will get the same kind of view, um, other than a different animal, probably, from a different side. What do you think, Eric?
I like it. I think it's gonna look great.
So,
Yeah.
and JP?
Yeah, it looks good. I like that it's colorful. It has a nice, you know, it fits in there. It's not as, it's like you said, it doesn't want to, you don't want it to be a focal point. You just want it kind of to blend in and everything.
Yeah, well, I mean that's certainly the intention, and one of the things that it was designed to do is just be something that was upbeat and positive to make have another element on the common of not only art, but also just positive energy.
I think the kids will like it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope
Yeah,
I hope it's a
think
hit
they
with
would too.
with the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking that parents will bring their kids over to look at it and talk about the bird or the rabbit or those kinds of things. So we will see. First, we have to see if the historical commission likes it, um, and approves it, and then onto the select board. So
Very
fingers
good.
crossed. So, all right. Just for just for interest sake, you get to see this is the image of the complexity of this type of
Mm.
design. So you're not designing for just one surface. Every surface of each individual box has to be taken into account, um, so that you understand what the views will look like, all around. And these are individual boxes that are part of the cluster that's together, as you can see, hopefully see in the bottom.
Hmm.
So the only thing that was not was left out of here is that on the top here there'll be clouds added into the top, and the And the reason for that is because when you look out of Town Hall, you'll be looking at a high angle looking down on the boxes. And so that adds a point of interest to the top. And if you're looking from some of the buildings that are around the downtown that are on the second stories, that the same thing, you'll be able to look down on the boxes. So we wanted to be able to make it so that all viewpoints of the
Yeah.
of the boxes had something interesting for people to see. All right. I have down about the downtown redesign working group that well, actually, let's go to the Needham Heights banner. The Needham Heights banner is still waiting for the fonts and the final I guess compilation of uh, the town branding. And JP, do you have any more update on the timing of that?
I I'm also waiting on something with it. So I know they're getting done. I mean, Amy's got a book that's about this thick on her desk that's all related to it. So I know we're getting close. And then I think once it's adopted, we'll all be able to go forward with our projects on that. I know that they're having some meetings with various departments on what logos they were going to use for those departments as well, and how they were going to, slightly change here and there depending on the patches and things like that to make sure that it looked proper.
Mhm. And do you have any idea in terms of timing? I know there was the thought
I
that sometime during this month that they would be finished.
I think the goal is the end of the month it'll be finished. I don't know. I hate to overpromise. I'll say November 15th. That way, if it takes there, then it's good. But if not, everybody's pleasantly surprised.
Sounds good. And yeah, and I know that the Heights banner project is one of those things that it can actually go up even if it's cold. So it's, can add something to the hopefully if we can execute it fast enough that it'll add a whole new sort of flair to the Heights going into the holiday season. But tune in next month and we'll find out where we're at. Because if depending on what the branding is, we'll have to we'll make a modification to the to the banner wherever necessary, and then present the final design to the I guess to the select board. So that's basically the scoop with that. And the last piece of the puzzle is the downtown redesign working group, and I was sworn in to be able to do that a week or two ago. And now we just wait for them basically to start meeting. So obviously, I'll let you know as soon as I get a notice that that they've actually begun. But that's basically the case. Is there anything else that I can stop the sharing of the screen here? Um, is there anything else that people would want to talk about? Because basically we've gotten quite quickly through the agenda.
Paul, do you have a date in mind for the unveiling of the next mural?
Well, one of the things that we're trying to find out. Let me get out of this. If it'll let me close it. And let me just unshare this. Stop the share. Is any contact with Charlie Baker's people to be able to find out if there's a time when he might be in Needham during November. Now, would you be able to reach out to him to
Yeah, I could do that.
to see?
I could do that. Yep.
Yeah, because that's basically the only thing we really need to know is when he might be here, and then we'll announce it to everyone and put it out through the newsletter and through probably the Needham Observer and all the news you need him and so on, and that should have a pretty good reach in Facebook, obviously,
Hmm.
as we
Okay.
do.
And then the other question I had, oh, I can send you an email reminder about this later, but if Seymour can just send me like a preview of which photos he's using, so I can run it by his assistant. Just I want to make sure there aren't any surprises because some of the photographs he had sent through his assistant, some of them I found online. And I just kind of want to make sure, I don't know, that there isn't a photo there that he doesn't like or something like that. So, I mean, I don't need to see the whole thing, and I know we want the whole thing to kind of be a surprise, but if he can just send me a preview of which photos he's using, I can run them by his assistant and just make sure there aren't any surprises there.
Sure. Well, I think, probably because we're, down the road in terms of the design, that I
Mm-hmm.
would probably say that it would be more difficult for Seymour to go back and now cross-reference the names on the different photos and try to be able to pull them out. Um, but I can, you know, it's perfectly fine if we just basically send him the finished product to be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any change that we need to make from it, we can swap out photos and
Okay.
pretty quickly. But uh,
Okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
we'd like it to be a surprise to him, but
Yeah.
maybe
Right.
his assistant can keep it from, him seeing it.
Yeah.
You
I may be able to tell by looking at it whether they're all photographs that they're if they're all photographs he supplied, I'm not even worried about it because he supplied them. You know what I mean? But I just, you never know. If I got something off the internet and somebody was in the picture that he doesn't get along with anymore, I don't know, something like that, it just might be awkward. So, but I might be able to tell just by looking at it. So,
All right. Well, I'll send you as soon as we have this last iteration completed, then I'll send you a copy of it so you can peruse it and see if there's anything that you think might be problematic. And
okay.
Where is he living now?
I haven't been able to figure that out. I haven't
Well,
been able
he
to
used
figure
to
that out. I
live.
mean, the headquarters of NCAA is in Indiana. I don't think he's living in Indiana. I think he's probably working, from a distance. That would be my best guess, but I haven't really been able to find the answer to that yet. So I'll see what I can
Yeah.
find out.
yeah,
He lived the next street over from my street.
Yeah. Yeah. There he did send photos of the two houses he lived in as a child.
yeah, they're
Uh,
in
I don't know if Seymour used them, but they were,
Yes,
yeah, he
yeah,
did.
they're
One
both
of them was on Prince Street, I think, and the other one is on
And
one of those streets near Pollard Middle School.
this next one over here,
Coolidge is.
Coolidge.
I guess he lived on
He
Coolidge.
lived
Oh, it's
on
Coolidge, not Prince.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Coolidge.
Yeah. Then there was one over by Pollard. So anyway.
All right. So I made a note to be able to send that off to you as soon as I get it.
Mhm.
And
Okay,
check it
great.
out, and then you'll get back to me in terms of when they think, or if there's a possibility that he might be able to be here in town,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll schedule according to that.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Anything else?
Yes.
Yes. Next meeting, obviously.
Oh, one more thing. This is a little bit random, and I'm only bringing it up because someone brought it up to me.
Sure.
When we were at the table at the harvest fair,
Yeah.
a gentleman stopped by. He was very nice, and he said that he had been doing some work on the history of the American Revolution. And this is such a kind of random thing, but he asked me, he was like, "Is there any did anything significant happen in the town of Needham regarding the American Revolution?" And I said, I have no idea. I think it was probably just farmland, so probably not. But I mean, there's always a possibility. So I don't know. I bring that up because he did, because he was like, well, maybe it would be interesting to have some kind of marker if anything, interesting happened here related to the American Revolution. I said I just didn't know, but I don't know if that's anything that's ever come up before.
Historical Society,
Yeah.
they should.
Yeah.
I would say, I would say if you would reach out to Gloria Greisen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, you want to do it definitely by email because right now she's
Yeah.
recovering from having a knee surgery.
Okay.
So if you call the historic society, that you're going to find that it just says they're closed till October 31st.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So email her. She's still communicating.
Okay.
And the other thing is that isn't in the if you go up to where Parish Road is in that area, where the cemetery is,
Mhm.
isn't there a cannon and cannonballs that are out?
Oh, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, that little like strip of grass. I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
mean,
take a look at that sometime.
that
Maybe
whole
that's
section along the right side of that road
mm-hmm.
is a cemetery, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the things in there is this cannons and cannonballs and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll
And I
take a look at
think
that.
that's what it's from. So I'm sure she'll be able to tie it together for you. But
Mm-hmm.
there may already be these places, and people just don't even know they're there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's great. Any other feedback? Actually, by the way, just so we have it on record that Jessica and Carol were at the Harvest Fair, manning the booth a few weeks ago, and we're basically passing out some cards and talking with people and so on. And is there any other feedback you got in terms of people you talked to or other items?
Yeah, there were a couple specific messages that I passed on to you. There was a woman who was looking for some way to memorialize her mom, and that was kind of specific, so I passed that along. Yeah, I mean, we had a few visitors. People asked, what kind of work we did. I kind of gave them the elevator pitch of sort of what we do and projects that we have coming up, and um, people seem to find it interesting. We passed out some stuff. It was funny because everyone had bowls of candy on their table. And it was like early trick or treat. Like kids were just running from table to table taking candy. So I think the candy was a bigger draw than the information, but we did manage
Absolutely. That
to
was the
distribute
draw.
that too.
Yeah. I guess next time we bring candy.
Yeah. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did, but it
Yeah.
disappeared pretty quickly, actually.
Oh,
They were yeah, but that's good. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
other than that, I mean it was fairly quiet, but some people did stop by and we sort of talked about what we did, and so yeah.
and how well attended was the Harvest Fair?
Oh, it seemed like it was very well attended. It seemed
Yeah.
quite busy, actually.
Well,
That's
yeah.
good.
There was a lot going on there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the feedback I'd gotten from some of the people in the chamber was that there was people were out there, strolling their families around
Mm-hmm.
and just having fun at a variety of different places throughout the whole common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It was nicely done, I thought.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And again, thank you for you guys doing that. And that was because I was away. But that was, it's one of those events where, just being present to it allows more exposure and obviously getting to talk to some people and getting some feedback like that. The one that I believe you're talking about in terms of their mother that I've been in contact to, and I basically just got a feedback that we can actually uh, have a bench where she would like it, uh, and that's terrific. And
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Mm.
there's another person who contacted me on another bench. This has been the year of the bench.
Yeah.
So Eric, we're gonna have to build another one.
Yeah.
We got our work ahead of us, I
You
know.
guys will be really good at that by the time you're done.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully fast, at it. But yeah, there's another one that is actually going to go to Memorial Field. So that'll be the first one we'll have done there.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. That'll be
So yeah,
nice. Yeah.
so that's the scoop. Yeah. Well, and the other one that I was going to say that we talked about before is the one that Chief Leary has been interested in being able to do for friends of his, which we're basically almost down the road in terms of being able to do that. The one piece, and Eric, actually, this reminds me, I was going to talk to you, is that we need some. I thought I had somebody who was in Needham who was a stonemason who would be able to dig the holes and uh, um, and to be able to mount this particular bench because it needs to be its footings need to be mounted in concrete.
Yep.
But he's apparently not interested in this type of thing. And so I'm looking for someone to because I need to complete the price
Yeah.
to the sponsor,
Sure.
and we need to find a way to be able to do it cost effectively.
All right. Well, I've got multiple guys we can ask. Let's chat on it tomorrow and we can pick it up from there.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Anything else? Anyone other than we need the next meeting date?
Yes, we do. Calendar.
21. Sorry. Yeah, 20 November 21. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're definitely not we're not having a meeting on the 28th for sure.
We can have Thanksgiving together on Zoom.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, 21st works for me.
Yeah,
I think it's okay for me too.
All righty then. And we'll Joan is away
this whole week.
yeah, this week. But she'll be back next week.
She'll be
And
back, I think, Sunday night.
yeah, so we'll catch up with her and just confirm, but this is far enough in advance. So, and she probably won't be taking a cruise then. So, so we'll uh we'll make sure she gets connected with it too. All right. So the 21st,
21st.
5 o'clock,
Yeah.
and we're good. All right. Well, thank you all. Now move to close the October 22nd meeting of the Revitalization Trust Fund. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye. We're done. Thanks, JP.
Not a problem. Everybody
Yeah.
have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Paul, see you in the
Bye.
morning.
You bet. See you in the morning.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.